Happy motherfucking birthday, Marines. Aloha. You are listening to the Rolling Vets Podcast, a podcast by veterans, for veterans, and civilians alike. I am Lucas Moss, your co-host, and I'm flanked by my Marine veteran peers, Aaron Pata.
Hey.
Let's hear it. And Chris Ellis, give him one.
Yeah.
We would like to extend an invitation to you, the listener, to journey inside of our realm to discover what it means to be a rolling vet.
And we're fucking back. One
on the
fucking
greatest
year.
day. Yeah, the greatest day of
birthday.
the year. Happy birthday to the fucking Marine Corps. Was it 247?
247 glorious
baby.
fucking years.
And happy 1 year birthday to this infant of a podcast. We are fucking striving, fellas. We are striving.
We're fucking
I'm
striving.
struggling, man. This hat's not staying on.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't, you were never meant to wear it anyway, so.
Ouch. It's the beard. I don't think it goes with it. If I shave the beard off, I'm sure it magically fit.
You guys hear that? Do you guys hear that right now? From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli.
We're so off right now.
Yeah.
I'm hearing Chris a little bit after you.
Unfortunately, that's what happens when you're streaming over the internet that way.
I'd say it's what happens when you have a shit internet connection.
Every fucking Marine better wake up today and play the fucking Marine Corps hymn and fucking drink a beer for Chesty, all right?
If you didn't wake up, if you woke up without an erection, you were wrong. Go back to sleep, wake up with one. Get
Full
your
mast.
motivator for the day. Full mast. Like today's the day, 247. Some of our best, greatest fucking. Did we ever tell ball stories on here?
Oh God,
No.
I don't think we have.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll save that. We'll save that for the end. We'll definitely save that for the end. But for today, we have a treat for y'all. In preparation of this great event for our 1 year anniversary, and also for the 247th Marine Corps birthday, we decided to discuss one of the most famous events in Marine Corps history, something that cemented our legacy, legitimized the Marine Corps in many eyes, to what it is now today. And that good gentleman was the Battle of Belleau Wood. Yeah, so the Battle of Belleau Wood, some good shit there. We have it's a huge part of Marine Corps history, Marine Corps lore, which is taking very, very seriously. So far, like, what are your guys' feelings on Belleau Wood? Like, what's your impressions before we dive deep into it?
My first story I heard about Belleau Woods was, I don't know if you want me to get into it, but was where we got our name Devil Dogs from.
Yeah, we'll be going over that.
I'm gonna let you go over that, but there's an image from that scene where it's another a Marine stabbing a fucking German fucking dude.
Yeah.
And there's people in the background ripping their fucking masks off and shit, dude. And that was like one of the most fucking hard fucking pictures I think I've ever seen in Marine Corps history.
Somebody we served with got that tattooed on them. Do you remember who?
Yeah.
It was fucking gnarly. I was like, man, I want to get that tattoo. But
I want to get it too, bro.
I ended up just getting like the actual fucking devil dog tattoo.
That's
pretty cool, I guess. Though, and I'll get into a little bit of the origin of that too, but yeah, so a little bit as a precursor before, or Aaron, did you want to add anything about Belleau Wood beforehand?
Yeah, so from my understanding, the French lines were broken by the Germans in World War I, and it was to the left, I believe, of the Marines line, and we just fucking rolled through and showed them who was boss, dude.
Yeah,
that's the most brief summary you can give of Belleau Wood, but I'll let you get into the details today.
Yeah, so Belleau Wood's actually interesting for a lot of reasons, and a lot of people, even Marines, we don't really, if you think about it, we don't really talk about a lot of our history and tradition prior to Belleau Wood.
We don't.
I mean, you talk about Chapultepec with the blood stripes, where we had a majority of the non-commissioned officers and officers die, in the war in Mexico. But other than that, we don't really talk about pre World War I like history, and the reason for that, and there's a good quote from the book that's I Will Hold by James Carl Nelson, who was a Marine lieutenant during World War One. And in his kind of his memoir, he's like, prior to Belleau Wood, prior to Blancmont, the Corps had almost operated as a secret society, a sparsely populated fraternity that sent its members to exotic places of which many have never heard. The men who went to these places were two-fisted, hard-living salts who considered themselves married to and subject to the Corps and little fucking else, dude.
Fucking
Is that not
hoorah,
fucking
dude.
motivating
That's
right
fucking
there?
badass.
It's a good way
Get
to
that
start.
fucking tat on your ribs, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, so the Marine Corps at this time, they were sent to a lot of places where nobody's ever fucking heard of, and fighting a lot of like wars that no one's ever heard of too, like a lot of small and this is during like the empire age of the United States. You know, you have the American Empire and the Victorian age. And so I mean, nobody actually like took the Marine Corps seriously because it was so small and they were only utilized in like the most exotic, craziest places. Hence the Marine Corps, him, any climb, any
Fucking
place.
place.
So after we get involved in World War One here, you know, we get involved in 1917 as the United States. So if anyone knows anything about World War One, it ends in like 1918. So our involvement is very short-lived, and a lot of scholars and historians would argue that was not very impactful, but I would argue the exact opposite for this specific battle in particular. So in World War One, the Germans had two fronts. You had the Western Front, which if you've seen on Netflix, All Quiet on the Western Front, holy shit, absolutely phenomenal. I was in tears. They get all the little things right. Amazing. I
haven't
just
seen it yet.
actually, yeah, I just
I haven't
fucking
either.
like I just bought the book because like I wanted to read the book after the movie. It was so
Hell
great.
yeah.
But so Western Front, you know, you had the Germans fighting the Allies, and then on the Eastern Front, you had the Russians, you know, but the Russians, they shortly leave the conflict due to their own internal issues. They had the Russian Revolution during that time. So the Germans were actually in a position in which they were able to concentrate all those Eastern forces back to the Western Front. And this is coming out of the winter of 1917 into like spring of 1918. And this is where you have the major spring offensive. And during this time, you know, like the Marines had just got to France. And you have the very famous line by who was it? It was Captain Lloyd Williams, part of 2nd Marines, 2nd or 2-5. He was part of 2-5. And so he's heading to the front, and the French officer's telling him, like, what are you doing? Like, you got to retreat. And he's like, retreat? Hell, we
Retreat
just
hell.
got here.
Yeah.
So now 2-5, they are forever, you know, cemented with that motto of retreat hell. So, and unfortunately, I'm pretty sure like Captain Lloyd Williams ended up dying a couple days later after saying that. He was killed in combat. But anyways, so the Marines were stationed in between Chateau Thierry and Soissons. So in between, that's about like Chateau Thierry is about 39, so under 40 miles from Paris, mind you. And the Germans were advancing through the woods leading into Chateau Thierry, which is known as Belleau Wood.
Crazy.
So,
Mind blown.
yeah. Yeah, so you had Marines that were stationed or that were, you know, along the lines in Belleau Wood, and they were also in the town of Chateau Thierry. And yeah, so the one thing I want to harp on, especially in this battle, because this is one of the main, or one of the first and most eventful conflicts involving the Marine Corps in World War One. And what sets them apart from the other, not only the other branches, but the other forces, and what the Germans really harped on and what they noticed very quickly was one, they weren't even using any automatic weapons. So the Marines didn't have any automatic weapons compared to some of the other forces, but they were more accurate. And the reason they were more accurate is because every Marine is a rifleman, and that started even in the very beginning of the Marine Corps. That's when that started. Is that every MOS you had to do marksmanship training. And I mean, you're talking about boot camp that was fucking 6 weeks long back then, and literally 3 weeks of it was shooting, was literally you're on the range shooting. So the Germans had never faced a force that were that accurate and that efficient in shooting, and so the Marines were able to kick their ass that way. And then, at this point, the full German advancement is 35,000 Prussian guards, which they're considered like the crack troops of the German
elite,
army at this
sure.
point. Like they are the elite, and there's only 8,000 Marines. So 8,000 versus 35,000, full frontal assault. The Marines are able to hold them back. Not only be able to hold them back within, from 40 miles from Paris, which would have evidently ended the war. France would have capitulated after that. But not only did they defend, and hold their ground, but the Marines had the audacity to have a counterattack. And
which is
actually ended up,
interesting.
which is very, go ahead.
Well, it's interesting because, like, if you look at any kind of strategy, the overall like hierarchy thing is, hey, as long as you outnumber the defenders for at least, I believe, 3-1 odds, you're gonna win, right? Like you will overrun that position by sheer force. And I don't know if our math is up to date, but 8 times 3 is 24, and we said they had 35. Like there was insurmountable odds even with a defender's advantage. So that's like in of itself, hanging on is one thing, but then to launch a counterattack, to mount a counterattack, an effective one, these guys are fucking insane.
Yeah, and that's where we kind of lead into one of the most famous moments in Marine Corps history, in which you have Gunnery Sergeant Dan Daly. He's rallying his troops during this counterattack, and he's like, "Come on, you sons of bitches! Do you want to live forever?" Like, and fucking, immortalizes himself more than he already has, because he's awarded 2 Medal of Honor. So, you have that moment, and then they're charging with fixed bayonets and totally slaughtering the Germans, and the Germans full retreat. And from there you have, and in essence, in my opinion, you have the Marine Corps saving all of Europe in one battle. Literally saving World War I. Yet scholars are willing to overlook such brilliant strategic victories such as Belleau Wood.
I would say that we definitely turned the tide in that battle. However, I believe eventually we would have won that ground back, which is probably why the scholars go on and say, oh, it wasn't that important. Well, the issue isn't whether or not how important it was more of how quickly we ended the war from that year. I like to think, hey, we got on deck, and after a year was over.
Yeah.
We should have been there in the first place. Would have lasted a hell of a lot shorter.
Now you're getting into isolation politics, but
Yeah,
I mean, aside from that, following the conclusion of that, they fight in Bloc Mont as well. But here
White
is
Mountain for you uncultured swine out there.
Yeah, j'aime parle un peu français, so I do speak a little French, motherfuckers.
Petit français.
Un peu, just a little. But yeah, so because of these battles, you have the Marine Corps is officially legitimized after this. It's a staple in on the Marine Corps branches now. Like, it's something, because everyone knows that the Marine Corps it's almost like a convenient branch. Like, we can get rid of the Marine Corps whenever we want it. Whenever we want. The civilians have the power to, to really push for that. But because of the effectiveness of the Marine Corps, because of the professionalism and X, Y, and Z, the Marine Corps is in the good graces of the people, of the public, so we keep them around. Those battles legitimized the Marine Corps and basically set it up to what it is today. Like, really laid down that foundation that people started taking them a lot more seriously. They started implementing them on a grander scale. We started growing. So by World War II, we're a lot bigger branch. We're a lot more funded. We're a lot more stabilized as the branch. We're taken a lot more seriously, a lot more in the limelight. And then the greatest generation takes it from there. So what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Chris, you want to lead the way?
Yeah. So Did you go? You want to go into depth about how the term devil dog
Oh yeah,
came?
yeah. So during that battle, thank you for reminding me. So following that battle, there were reports by the media, by the American media, and during this time, you have the foreign press. Like, it's not really a thing. It becomes more of a thing in World War II, but um, they were allegedly describing the Marines at Belleau Wood as Tiffelhunden, which stands for devil dog, which translates to devil dog.
It translates to dogs from hell.
Yeah, dogs from hell.
Yeah.
Which the Marines associate themselves now as devil dogs. Well, henceforth that moment, devil dogs has been cemented as part of the nicknames and slang for Marines. But yeah, a lot of scholars also argue the origin of that. There are firm believers that that's part of like propaganda, just war propaganda to
Yeah.
rally the support of civilians to purchase war bonds and stuff like that, and to support the Marine Corps, obviously. But I mean, badass nonetheless. Like, whoever fucking came up with it, whether it was the Germans or not, I mean, it's a pretty fucking badass.
Well, so here's the story I heard about it. I heard that the Marines fixed bayonets and they charged the Germans gassed them. And the Marines were having trouble seeing with their gas mask on, trying to fight. So some of them said, fuck it, and they ripped their gas mask off, and they kept fucking charging. And the Germans said they were bleeding out of their eyes and like their mouth, like shit was coming out.
Yeah.
And they said they looked like Teufelhunden, dogs from hell, crawling over trenches with bayonets, coming to kill you. And dude, I heard that fucking
defective
story.
gas mask makes sense to me, man.
No, it's not
Dude,
defective
yeah.
gas mask. It's because that training they train you to take the gas mask off in the gas chamber. They're like, take that shit off. Yeah, that's right. Shake your fucking head around. Now do some jumping jacks, bitch. That's why they were like, fuck it, let me take that shit.
That's probably what it was.
But fucking think about like being in that actual situation. Like, your fucking officer tells you to fucking fix bayonets. You fucking charge it. People are getting fucking shot. People are ripping their fucking mask off. Fucking like that's fucking an insane piece of history right there. That's like an insane circumstance for like them to fucking be in. Because at one point they were fucking recruits in boot camp. They didn't know they were gonna fucking be put in that situation ever. Like I said, they got 6 weeks of fucking training, 3 weeks on the rifle range. Oh, that's not a lot of time if you're going to fucking war. That's
No.
crazy.
They all did it for the 100% disability. That's what they did it for. Let's be honest.
Even though there was no fucking VA,
there was
back
no
then.
VA, yeah, but they still did it for the
No.
100%, bro.
No, but like, I mean, think about that though. Like, that's a good point that you bring up, Aaron, is the fact that they were able to do those things and want to do those things. They volunteered, they didn't get drafted. Without the perk or reward or whatever you call it of eventually being service connected and getting those benefits. So like these guys, and you heard the quote, like, some of the hardest motherfuckers that the United States had to offer. There's another quote in the book too that talks about like one time, like him seeing like a fucking Marine like break his leg with the bone sticking out, and the dude laughed and casually pushed the bone back into his leg, and just stuff like that, like how these guys are just built different. And I mean, I think today still Marines are built different, and for a good reason. And so you have these guys that have the sense of like patriotism. I mean, you can call it patriotism, sense of duty, like to not only serve their country, but to do so in a branch like the Marine Corps at that point, which was very taboo.
Yeah, I mean, it still is, in the sense that we get hand-me-downs from the Army. We're more proficient in the weapon systems than they were. Like, we are the most underfunded, as a whole, most underfunded branch, and yet we're still fucking slaying bodies and taking names. It's crazy to think about.
Hey, fucking improvise, adapt, overcome. All right, got it.
Adapt, achieve, overcome, succeed.
Reminds me, like when we were in Thailand, right?
Yeah.
We had those. We were staying in the mountain house, and in those mountain houses, and I looked outside, And one day I just see this guy. I think it was Clark. You remember Clark? The 51?
Yeah.
Dude, he was over there. He had a log. Like he just ripped a fucking log off a tree and he put two ammo cans, or like I think four ammo cans on either side of it, filled them up with dirt, and he was bench pressing it. You're like, dude, this man made his own fucking gym out there. Like crazy shit like that.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. They're
just figure it out.
just fucking mentally just different. Like, like there's a certain level of like toughness, I think,
Autism.
that's
Oh.
involved. I mean, probably that too. Actually, so that's I think the politically correct term now, and I just literally just found this out the other day. Neurodiverse. So if you're neurodiverse, it means that you're autistic. But anyways,
I like autistic better.
I'm
To be
gonna fucking
honest.
say
I
autistic.
Yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna
I
say no one
digress.
gives a shit.
I digress. But yeah, so I think another big part of the success, especially of these Marines in World War One, and I think the success of like all Marines is very reliant on this, is their NCOs. So the NCOs, like they have like, I mean, he's a staff NCO, like Gunnery Sergeant Dan Daly, but like a lot of the NCOs were those dudes that were in exotic places, those tough motherfuckers, by the time those recruits came for World War One and they started bolstering the Marine Corps a little bit, like those older guys who have seen some shit in the Banana Wars and the Boxer Rebellion and those other conflicts, that were going on, like prior, like fucking Haiti and all that shit, like they were able to like have combat veterans as their NCOs and as their mentors to lead them in a global conflict.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing that we do differently. We trained with so many other nations, right? And they were very much, for the large part, reliant on the orders of their officers. And it's like, okay, well, officers can't be everywhere at every point at all times. You know what I mean? So to
Yeah.
give that power to enlisted men is unthinkable in some of these other countries, but I'd say it pays dividends in the level of training, the camaraderie. Like, the person that you're with is not some officer that you see maybe once or twice a day. It's the person that you've been training with, living with, eating with 24/7, and just figure it the fuck out.
Not to get off topic for a second, but one thing I fucking loved was like training with other militaries like our age. I just be able to hang out with like a fucking Royal Marine or a fucking Korean Marine, like a Royal Marine, like getting drunk together, like talking shit. Like it's just cool as fuck to see. Like no matter where you go, like fucking Marines are the same.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I brought up the film It's All Quiet on the Western Front. It's a novel about a young German soldier in World War One. He kind of gets swept away into the war thinking it's something of honor and glory. And then he gets to the reality of the fucking trenches, right? And he experiences like all the bullshit. But what matters the most, and what the story gets right, is that camaraderie, like the people there, the relationships, the interpersonal relationships that you have with people, the stuff that you talk about, the stupid shit you sit around fucking breaking open MREs, and you're just shooting the shit about God knows what, conspiracy theories, like what so and so did back home, like what you're gonna do when you get out, like all these different stories. Like, obviously the film gets right, but that's what made me so, I guess, like nostalgic and emotional watching it, was because I do miss that, and there's one of the characters in the book and in the film, his name is Kat. He I think he mentions that at one point where he's like, I'm not sure how I can go back, like home to like my family when I'm gonna miss like eating this stuff like with you guys, like eating just like literally shit with you guys. And I fucking hated MREs, but I mean, just the fact that I would eat MREs with other people made it that much more enjoyable.
Yeah, breaking bread with the boys. I mean, no matter where you at, you could fucking have some fucking fun, talk some shit, fucking tell stories.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. It's great. I think some of my best fucking times were just chilling out in the fucking smoke pit in Korea, just fucking smoking and fucking joking and nothing else to do other than fucking sit around.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, I mean, fuck. And like you said, like hanging out with, those other militaries at your age. I mean, that was just fucking funny, dude. And like, I think one of the funnier, and one of the most, and here's a Marine Corps story, like a typical Marine story. Like, porn is banned in Korea, and so a lot of these Koreans have never seen porn before. And what's the first thing that like our entire our line company does when we start training with the Rock Marines is fucking start showing them porn and airdropping porn to their phones. It's like, and of course, like whenever they're like, all right, it's chow time, like we're gonna go sit down and fucking have chow, and like they're all huddled up next to each other and like all watching porn videos now. Like it's the funniest fucking thing, like trading MREs with them, and like they're really not so different. They're not so
No,
different from us.
no.
Like, yeah, expect even the Royal Marines, like the Royal Marines, to sit there and have like a group as an elite as the Royal Marines pay their respects to like you and your profession as a United States Marine. I think is, I think there's such a great, and it's so funny. Like, you should bring up the Royal Marines today, is because when I was driving to work, or driving to school, which is the same thing. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking about the Royal Marines today, because I was like, if I'm gonna wear, I was like, what I'm gonna wear for the podcast. I was like, I have the Royal Marines jacket, but I was like, but I kind of want to wear the fucking boonie. So
Fuck.
I'll just wear the boonie, because I was like, the jacket and the boonie's not gonna match. I'm just gonna look fucking stupid. So
You still look fucking stupid though.
exactly, but I didn't want to look like, I didn't want to go like full stupid, but yeah, so like I was thinking about like when we were training with them and hanging out with them, and how there was just such a level of mutual respect for each other, like, to sit down and with them and have a beer. And I remember one of them was like, he's like, so where are you from? And I know he's like, where are you guys stationed at? And I was like, we're stationed in Hawaii. And he's like, well, where are you from? I was like, oh, I enlisted out of Philadelphia. And he was like, holy shit. And he's like, how do you do? He's like, I don't understand how you guys like stay so far away from home all the time, and then have to do like the stuff that we do. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I never really thought about, like, he's like, yeah, he's like, everyone, he's like, when you're in the Royal Marines, you get stationed like wherever it's closest to home.
What?
And
I
he's
mean, I
like,
guess that
yeah,
makes sense. Their country is small enough to facilitate that.
exactly. And he said, even if you're a little far, like you're no more than a couple hours away
Right.
from home anyway, so you never have that problem. And he's like, yeah, he's like, you guys have to deal with a lot more stuff technically than we do. And to have like, a Royal Marine sit there and say that to you, you're like, shit, like, fuck
I
yeah.
also think
you know
it might be kind of a good thing to be like stationed away from your home, because if you're stationed near your home, you might have too much of like your home life like on your plate like during your service. That kind of helped me out. Like I thought being in Hawaii, I was like so far away from my fucking family where I couldn't even like keep in contact with them because the time difference was so much. So it like really like kept me zeroed in on just like my life in Hawaii and shit, and like living it up like as far as like tourism and shit. And also like fucking, I mean, I would do some stupid training. Like I'd get off work and go ruck fucking like KT for no fucking reason. Like I look back at it now, I'm like, that's when my fucking back's fucked up. My fucking knees are fucked up now.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about
Yeah,
you, Pod?
I
Would you
never
rather be close
really
home?
personally, people always ask like, "Oh, where's your home?" It's like, bro, my home is where I'm sleeping at tonight. You know what I mean? Like that's my home. So I guess it did help in the sense that it got me out of the area that I grew up at, and I think it helped me mature more as a person to be away from family. But I do think that it is an obstacle, it is a hurdle, especially for people who are so family oriented. So, but I never really thought about it, like it's just something that I was like, oh, military equals bye, like away. I didn't think that that was a hurdle, but now like hearing about it from his perspective, like, yeah, I could see how that could be an issue for a lot of people and countries that are much smaller than ours.
Yeah, it's just a different lifestyle, but
Absolutely.
I mean, but soldiering all the same, like the art of being a soldier. I mean, I know, kind of like it's like nails on a fucking chalkboard whenever I say that word, and Marines are listening, they're like,
Yep,
soldier.
yep,
But I
yeah.
mean, it's the profession of being a soldier, also is
Being a troop.
is being a Marine. So And like the importance of that and how much does that mean like to you guys and when you think about your service and you reflect upon your service, or have you ever thought about your service that way in a sense of it being like professionalism and in a sense of being a soldier?
I mean, I look at like being a Marine as like I like if I'm gonna tell somebody I'm a Marine, like out in public, they like ask me about my military service and shit. They see if I see something like that, I talk to them and get to know them, and I want to like hold myself high. I don't want to like be like, oh, I'm a Marine, but like look like trash and shit. Look like I'm fucking stained up clothes, not dressing nice, not fucking holding myself. Like I don't know, like standing tall, walking tall. I try to. I feel like it makes you more confident in a sense, and a lot of Marines get out of the Marine Corps and like move on and like become like great whatever profession they do. Like General Mattis had a quote said, I forget how it goes, but it's something along those like a Marine gets out and says he's going to make $1 million, he's going to do it.
Mm.
And I think that's like something that's like ingrained in us. Like we get shit done.
Just do
Like
it.
Yeah.
you fucking do it.
Don't talk about it. Be
Yeah, you
about it.
fucking do it. Yeah, exactly. And so I think I hold myself accountable to that. Like just don't fucking talk about it. You gotta fucking be about it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a fucking great words to live by.
Yeah, and Marine Corps is very black and white. It's either like you
You're fucked
fucking
up or
got
you're
it
not.
done. Yeah,
Yeah.
you either fucking got it done or you didn't. And
Yep.
like nobody gives a fuck why or why not. Like
Yep.
and that's and then that's what, and that being said, like the means, or the ends always justify the means in the Marine
Always.
Corps.
Yeah.
You get the fucking job done that no matter fucking what you got to do. Like if you ask for forgiveness before you ever ask for permission.
Damn right.
And you eat the ass chewing either way. Like, man, I've had to eat some. Dude, I'll never fucking forget
Hey,
having to eat some
perception
ass
is
chewing for
reality, and
something
that's a
else.
bitch sometimes,
No, your perception is your reality. All
Yeah,
right. So,
but
and I say
perception
that
in general is reality.
because everybody else could see you working hard and doing all this good stuff, but if the one person, say the one first sergeant, the one time he sees you, you got your legs up on the duty desk, or you're kicking back or relaxing, all of a sudden you're fucked up. So your perception is your reality.
Yeah. Well, it takes that one time. It's like it's to think about
That's
that. We were served in a branch where it felt like you were on eggshells, like walking on
the entire time.
eggshells the
And
entire
that's the thing.
time.
No matter what you did, no matter how squared away you thought you were, someone would find an issue with you. There would be
Yeah.
something that you were doing that was incorrect. I don't care how squared away you were as a Marine, you were always fucked up. And you knew that. Like after about 2-3 months in the fleet, you're like, you just get it. You're like, okay, no matter what, I'm going to be fucked up. And you expect the ass chewing. You're like, okay, I've been yelled at like a million times by now. Go ahead. What's another one?
I
And
think
you
that
just
I
let
think
it
that
bounce
always
off
keeps you on your toes, though.
It does.
I think that's a good thing, though. I mean, I think it's good to get your fucking ass shooter once in a
No,
while.
absolutely. And I love the
100%.
fact that, you go on a military base even today, a Marine Corps base today, bro, there's people looking, waiting, watching like vultures,
I fucking
trying
hated
to
that
find
shit.
something fucked up. I hated
Hey,
it. It's
Marines,
just, but
come
I
here.
understand
Bro.
it.
It's
But I
toxic.
understand it,
It's
It
fucking
can definitely,
toxic.
it can definitely be toxic. It can definitely be
No
100%.
one's saying it's not toxic, but at the same time, did it keep you on your toes even when you were off duty? When you were on the
Unfortunately, and it affected me negatively, like because of that. Like it made me withdraw, dude. It made me withdraw from the Marines.
And
Like
I believe there's two types of people. There's only two ways it can go, right? One, it makes you withdraw, go back, be like, fuck this shit, I'm getting out. Or two, it makes you like brainwashes you into the system and you're like, fuck yeah, I got yelled at, I'm gonna yell at someone else.
Yeah.
Or I believe in the system. The system, I see why it's there and I'm gonna go ahead and make that correction. So I mean, there's only two ways you can go.
Well,
And
I think the way I looked at it was like I I think ass chewings are only due when they're warranted, and I think the reason I got out was because of the unnecessary ass chewing. I
no,
feel like
there's a
there
lot
is
of
always
unnecessary
there's
bullshit.
plenty of circumstances where Marines fuck up and they're like, come on, you fucking idiot, like get your shit together. But then you just have some people who like let that rank wear them, and they always
Yeah,
want to be right, and they can never be fucking wrong.
the
And
power
it's
trips
like,
for sure. And it's kind of
God,
sad
fucking
because a lot of the people who get drunk on that power, who have that power trip after putting a bar up on their collar, like they're the ones who stay in. Those are the gentlemen that you see congregate, and I feel like there's a lot of negativity associated with all of that from just those few people staying in. Like, I know we've all met a gunnery sergeant or a master sergeant that, like, you're like, okay, I see why you stayed in. Like, if you got out in the civilian world, there'd be a lot of adapting needed. I'm not saying that
Do you
about the
feel
majority of the
like
Corps.
that is because it's like peacetime or quote unquote peacetime? Do
I
you
would
feel that that
know.
is?
I can't say that because I've never served in wartime Marine Corps.
Yeah.
It's very hard for us to say that when we have only
Yeah.
ever known peacetime Marine Corps, right?
Yeah. But
We can
I would
idealize
think
it. We
because
can
like
think
I would
about
think
it.
yeah, I would think in wartime you would have a different perception. I would feel like we would because and I don't want to speak for you guys, but I feel like I would because I'd be like, okay, like no matter what, like this dude may be a piece of shit, but I understand why he's here. Like nobody, and especially in an all volunteer force, it's like, okay, this dude's here during wartime. It's like, you know, at least he's here. You know, he may be a dick, but at least he's here to do a fucking job, and whether I like him or not, kind of thing, and whether he's good at his job or not, whatever. Like at least he's here. Like he volunteered to be here.
I don't have an
Um,
issue with assholes. I don't have an issue with people. I have an issue with
the
people that
dickheads that
are
stay in.
bad at their jobs
Yeah.
and still stay in. And the only reason why
Uh-huh.
they do so is because they have that power trip for the first time in their life. They're
Yeah.
not being treated like shit for the first time in
Yeah,
their
and
life.
and there were, our remnants, a lot of our staff NCOs were, those guys who went to Afghanistan and Iraq, and
It's like, okay, I
those some of them,
understand.
yeah, some of them you were like, yeah, I can understand why you're staying in is because you can't even fucking read, like that's why that's why you're staying in, and then there's other ones where you're just like, okay, yeah, you're way too fucked up to function in any other fucking place. And then there were the ones that were like, okay, I get it. Like, you're just a fucking dick and you love those stripes
Yeah.
so much. And that's why you're here. You know what? Your wife believes those are her stripes too. So, like, that kind of fucking family, like that kind of dynamic.
Took it a little farther than I was going, but all right. All right.
I mean, it's
Well,
true.
no, it is. And it's sad,
It's
but
unfortunately you can stereotype a lot, like when it comes to the military. Like,
well,
it's
you know
just,
why stereotypes exist, right?
yeah,
Because they're fucking effective. They work. All right.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
we have grown, evolved from the state since we were cavemen, right? We look at a series of functions that the certain individual has. And if you see multiple of those individuals in a group, you're like, oh, maybe we should stay away from that group. Right.
Yeah.
It's just for all you guys that are creationists, not evolutionists. I'm sorry I'm offending you, but that's just how we evolve, man.
Yeah. Find our ways to
Think
live
about it,
longer.
right? Like, I mean, it's part of our training too, right? Like, you go in to any of those IED classes, and they'd be like, "Hey, if you're going to a bazaar and it's empty, right? What's the first thing you think about?" Then you see an Arab in all white, clean clothes that's freshly shaven. You're like, you know what? I'm just not going to discriminate. I'm not going to, think anything of it. And you all get blown to hell. And boom, you're taking your genes from the gene pool.
Yeah, you're also talking about context, though.
But no. I'm saying that still applies at a lower level.
Yeah.
It's just how we were, that's how we've evolved. That's why we're still here
Well,
today.
we'll talk a little bit more on that because, Chris, you kind of also brought it up too. I mean, we all kind of brought it up, you brought up the ass chewings and stuff like that. But we all kind of talk about like walking on eggshells and having that, heightened, I guess, like sensitivity to like to be self-aware at all times, to constantly check yourself to make sure that you're not fucked up and stuff like that. And it's almost like a sense of paranoia. Like,
Yeah.
do you guys feel like you still carry that with you, like into the civilian life?
Yeah, I mean, I still check myself in the mirror before I go out, make sure I work at the VA as a security officer, and you're going to be around veterans the whole time. If you look fucked up, you're fucked up, right? And I know I hold my officers to that standard. So if I'm looking all messed up, out of uniform, wearing fucking, I don't know, fucking neon socks, like, how can I hold them to that same standard? And I think it parodies the Marine Corps in that sense, but As far as like being scared of an ass chewing, not really. You know what I mean? Like there's no one
Yeah.
left to yell at me, and if you do yell at me, I'm gonna yell right back,
Yeah.
and I will win. It's just
Yeah, I don't think I'm paranoid of pissing anybody off at all. I think I'm paranoid about like myself and like how I live my life. Like I want to be very organized. I want to be a very organized person. That's like it's like if my shit's fucked up, it's kind of like when you're in like your shit can't be fucked up. Like you have to
Yeah.
have your shit in line.
Yeah.
And if my shit's not in line, it fucking just like gives me anxiety. Like kind of like fucking I don't know, fucking that's like a stressor for me since I've been out. Like I have to
Yeah.
fucking make sure my fucking P's and Q's and fucking shit are good.
Yeah.
so I think we tried to elaborate on it last time, but I still don't understand it. Like, why is it like a personal thing? Like you don't feel comfortable with yourself, or is it you don't feel comfortable with the way others are perceiving you?
No, I think I have to hold myself accountable to a level. I feel like every man should push themselves to be better in their every aspect. I feel like as a man, you shouldn't want an easy life. You should wanna push yourself. You should wanna like become more successful, become a role model for your son. I have a son now. Like I wanna I want like to look at I want somebody to look at me and go that like he has this shit together. Like he's fucking like I don't know, somebody like a role model. I want to be a fucking role model for my son. So I want somebody to look at me and say like, damn, like that's what I want to be. I want to be something like that. Like if I look up to other people, I have role models in my life. I'm like, damn, that's what I aspire to be. I want to be something that somebody else aspires to be. And if I'm not going to get to that level I want to be at unless I push myself past my limits of doing shit that makes me uncomfortable, like a cold shower. I know we go back to that thing, but it's so simple,
Nah, man,
simple
don't
as
start
that.
that shit
I'm
again.
not. We're not gonna get on it. It's so simple as that. Like or like that's just my little ways of like keeping myself accountable, like little challenges myself. I guess I
Okay,
would say.
dude,
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you like kind of like a personal question?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
And I really want you to kind of kind of soak it in, like reflect on it, and like
Yep.
don't answer like right away. Would you let your son join the Marine Corps if he wanted
Yes.
to?
No. 100%. I want him
I
to.
told you not. I told you not to answer
No,
like right away.
I already talked. I already talked to Emmy about this, bro. I want him
no hesitation. Hell
to
yeah.
How does she
not.
feel about it too? I want to know that.
She's like, hell no. She said,
Yeah.
hell no. No, I think like I'm gonna have expectations for him. Like I'm not gonna be like, hey, you have to join the fucking Marine Corps. If he wants to, I'm all for it. But he's gonna do something with his life. Like I'm not gonna let my son fucking be like, yeah, I'm just gonna like not go to college or not join the Marine Corps. I'm just gonna chill out for and do my own thing. I'm like, no, like you're gonna work towards something. Are you gonna fucking you want to open your own business? Do you want to fucking pursue some type of like path? Like I'm gonna be a very like encouraging in my ways. I'm not like I want him to join the Marine Corps. Fucking wants to 100%. I think it'd be cool shit. My dad was in the Navy. I take pride in that my dad was in the Navy and I joined the Marine Corps. I think my dad takes pride in that. See, it's like a family thing. Like I had grandpas that was that parachuted in fucking World War II. Like I think that's something to be proud of. And if he decided to go down that road, I think it's something to be proud of.
No, would you be insulted if he didn't decide to go down that route?
Nope, nope. As long as he has something he's doing,
Okay.
like as long as he has something and he's not just fucking being a fucking waste. Like I have expectations for him as a man. I'm not gonna let him fucking waste away. Be some fucking loser. Get your ass up. Fucking do something.
Stay hard, motherfucker.
Got big a waste of my oxygen.
Which I know he is. I'm not even fucking worried about it. I'm not even worried about that happening.
Oh yeah.
This dude's gonna fucking kill it.
And it's because you set that positive example.
Yeah.
So, man, at the end of the day, I really respect you getting better every day. I think that's what every person in the world should strive for. We'd live in a better society if we all took that initiative every day. But try not to be too hard on the kid, yeah? And let him grow up. Just lead
That's
by
good
example,
advice.
and like he'll find his own way. And if you've set that positive example, I'm sure he'll follow in the same footsteps, whether it be the Army, Navy, Air Force, whatever, Space Force.
Marine Corps, Navy.
Space-
We'll leave it at those two.
Marine Corps, Navy.
You're not allowed to join any other one.
Yeah.
No, a Space Force. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Did I tell you guys I want to join the Space Force just so I call myself a Space Marine?
Yeah, you did tell us that, and I actually think I achieved forgetting it, and then you just reminded me.
Like, I don't know what I'd want to do there, but like, I don't know, yeah, fucking cool space marine,
Yes. Okay, speaking of which, okay, we'll transition. Okay, so now think about the Marine Corps ball. Like, think about your experiences at the Marine Corps ball. Let's reflect on that.
The Marine Corps dress blues has 4 pockets, and I encourage any Marine who has not done this yet to get 4 flasks and put 1 in each motherfucking pocket, because
6
that
bucks.
was
You got 2
something.
socks too.
Oh, I never fucking fill my socks up. I just fill my pockets
Oh,
up.
Lucas and I got a story about that one, but please continue.
No, but that's just a fucking pro move right there. Pro tip: fucking fill your fucking flask up. Get the big ass ones, big as you can fit. Alcohol is expensive. Fucking Jack's fucking like $24.99. Do your thing.
Okay, Aaron.
I
What
like
about
that
you?
one. I like that one. Dude, the best ball that I went to was actually with you. We got that party bus in Honolulu.
Yeah.
Oh man. That was a good time.
Yeah, Chris, you
That
were there
was-
too, right?
we were
popped
all
up on
there
my memories
together.
today. Fucking, it popped up on my memories today on my Snapchat. Aaron's front camera was broke, so he was using his fucking screen and he was recording like this.
That's right. Oh, dude, that was fucking insane.
That party
I
bus
was so
gnarly,
drunk.
wasn't it, dude?
We got what was like 8 bottles of champagne, and they were gone before like the first like 5 miles passed.
Yeah, so we were actually supposed to stay on it longer. Like, she was gonna like take us around Waikiki and stuff like that, and we had just fucking drank, like, we had so many bottles of champagne, and we just downed them all like within like 25 minutes. And yeah, and I was like,
And
just
we
drop
were
us
pre-gaming.
off there. Yeah, we were pre-gaming
at
at my
his
house.
place.
Yeah, at my
Yep,
place.
yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was
we
like,
had the
yeah,
bar, the
today's gonna be a
kegerator
good
there.
night. I was already feeling good, and then by the time we got on the bus, I was fucking drunk. And then by the time we
Dude,
got
I
off the
was
bus,
tapped by the time we left the ball, dude. I like, we could have gone out. It was still early yet, but I was fucking tapped. Like,
dude, I may or may not have been underage at the time, and I had to pass. We go up this elevator, right, to the ballroom of the Hilton, and the first person I see right there is our company first sergeant. And our company first sergeant was like a huge like anti-alcohol, like he was the #1 spokesperson for like no alcohol ever. And here
Fucking
I
Blue
am,
Falcon.
like, here I am, like I have to be reeking of alcohol. There's probably been so much champagne spilled on me from the bus ride, from Lucas's house. I mean, like, oh man. And I had to
Kegerator.
put on the best sober face of my life. And I think I fucking nailed that shit, but I might have looked like an idiot. I don't know. But
sir.
dude,
I was
there were
raw
some
first
fucking
arm.
stories. There were some
That's
stories
exactly
I
what I
wish
said.
there were some stories I wish I could tell on here, but man, my family, my future
Yeah.
employers, my current employers, my past employers everyone would look at me differently.
I have
But
Kiek on
I
here
have them all
sometime.
locked right up here.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry. All right here. Contact me if you want to know the deets.
But yeah, my one of my first balls, or our first ball that we actually had with 3-3, I just remember like my seniors like just fucking taking me down to the parking garage, like taking me like just just taking me away from my date and taking me down to the parking garage and liquor boarding me on the hood of a car. Like, just put like one had their fucking hand on my forehead, and the other one had like their hand on my chin, and the other one was just pouring fucking vodka, just like straight vodka, like down my throat. Like, no, like, hey, like, no, there was no safe word. There's no like tap me, like there's
Safe
no
word. What's
tap,
that?
like, exactly. It was just like whenever they felt like I was satisfied, it's
When they were satisfied.
and so they were doing this, right? And I'm at this point, I'm fucking MC hammered. And when I have a very, or like when I drank, I had a very weak bladder, very, very weak bladder. And I'm sitting there, and this old fucker is speaking, the guest speaker, I can't remember his name, I don't even know who he was standing up there just running his fucking trap, like running his little cock holster for dude. And I had to piss so fucking badly. And I was like, I don't dare get up. I don't fucking dare get up. But if I don't get up, I will piss myself. I was looking around, there was empty beer bottles, but I was afraid that the amount of piss that was about to come out was gonna fill that bottle and more. And I wouldn't have like an additional bottle. And I'm freaking out, dude. Like I'm like beads of sweat are coming down my forehead. Like you know what? And you start cramping, like you can feel your fucking like everything, your organs just start cramping. And I'm like, I gotta piss. So I said, fuck it. I was like, I'm getting up. I'm getting up.
And I saw this before I knew him. I saw him get up while the guest speaker was speaking.
Everyone saw me. The entire battalion saw me because
I'm telling you, everybody took their eyes off the guest speaker and shifted it to him as he waddles his way out to the back of the fucking room.
I didn't give a fuck, dude. Because this dude, he was trying to conclude his speech, and he was one of those dudes that just couldn't fucking land the plane. Like he was like, oh, yo, and
did have like conclude, 7.
Yeah, and and to conclude, in blah, conclusion, blah, 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 and he'll just fucking keep going, and I'm like, oh, and I'm just like, dude, I'm like, what are you doing to me? So I got up and I fucking pissed, but I mean, I went and total fire hose, dude, total fire hose. Like I thought I put a hole through the fucking urinal, but then I come back and I know better than to sit down. Like I know better than to go back and sit in my seat. So I just wait until the whole thing's over and people are clapping and getting up and shit. And I was like, let me go to my fucking seat, sit down like a little fucking little Lance Corporal first ball. And then fucking my fucking staff sergeant comes over and headbutts me in front of my date. Like, oh, like fucking puts his head in my head. And he's like, don't you, what the fuck were you thinking getting up in the middle of that fucking speech? What the fuck is wrong with you? You sit there and you hold your fucking piss. Like you hold the fucking discipline in your fucking body. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you gotta be. He's like, you're gonna fucking pay for it. He smells like just straight booze, just yelling at me, like headbutting me, like his head's like this. And I'm just sitting there like having to fucking take this shit like a little bitch. Oh, bro. So that was the first ball right there.
Oh, yeah. One hell of a ball, man. I remember I was like, damn, I can't wait to see what happens to this guy. And then I think another bottle of champagne ended up like winding its way over to our table, and I just never saw him again until like like a year and a half later when we fucking finally started kicking it.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was good shit. Marine Corps ball, man. What a fucking time to be alive. What the gentlemen and the females, the women that we served with. Hats off to you. Hats off to you, Marines. That's all I could say.
Should take your booty off. Hats off.
Super fast.
Hats off to you.
There you go.
Do or die. Paris Island in July.
Super fast.
We can start our little country group.
Absolutely not.
So I was actually telling there's a couple of veterans in one of my classes, and I was telling him, like, I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, we fucking, they call it seshing out here, like smoking weed, like sesh, like, and I was like,
silver smoke sesh. Yeah.
And I was trying to get him to sesh with me. I was like, dude, like, you're a vet, like I'm a vet, like, do you sesh? Like, he's like, yeah, dude. He's like, yeah, I fucking sesh. Like, and I was like, let's fucking, and he used to be like, he's a former fucking like air marshal too. Like he was a Fed. And I was like, yeah, let's fucking do it, dude. Like, and I was like, I actually have a podcast for veterans, like me and my buddies, like we do a podcast, and it's called The Rolling Vets. And he just started dying laughing at the name. He's like, dude, The Rolling Vets. And I was like, yeah. He's like, you guys just smoke weed? And I was like, yeah.
Bring them on, bro.
Two of us, dude. Pieces of shit.
Oh yeah, you're a piece of shit. Fucking alcoholic.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, fucking what a great episode.
This is legit, guys. Hey, fucking to all the Marines out there, fucking head up, enjoy this fucking month, man. This Marine Corps Ramadan.
Yeah.
Enjoy the fucking birthday today. Like, get it.
Yeah.
Fucking get it. Live it up while you can, because even while we're out, let's fucking live it up, because there's only one 247th birthday of the Corps. Good to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Fucking
One.
this week, reach out to one of your buddies. Say happy fucking birthday. Listen to the
Yeah.
fucking Rolling Vets podcast. Let's get a fucking beer sometime. Meet
Yeah.
up. Drive a few hours. Fuck it. See your buddies. Party. Have fun. Love you guys.
Responsibly. Responsibly. Yeah, for sure. To piggyback off these two dickheads, yeah, fucking reach out. Not only that, but like, I mean, we were very Marine Corps heavy today, but we did not forget all of you veterans on Veterans Day,
We
which is
definitely did.
Friday. So
Sorry.
yeah, no, we did not.
Sorry.
I did not, at least. So for all the veterans, I mean, we had majority, I think, of the veterans on here, or I think from additional services, so like from other service branches. So happy Veterans Day. You guys earned it. Go get your fucking free meal. Go get your free breakfast somewhere. Go get your free lunch and go get your free fucking
Change your
dinner.
profile picture to you and your blues.
Yeah, it's you and your blues, or you and whatever your fucking your ODUs or whatever you guys call them, your fucking fatigues. Like embrace it. Embrace it. Put away the pride of being too proud to represent the fact that you're a veteran for a second, and embrace it. Truly embrace it, because people do give a shit about you, and they're willing to prove it to you that day, and so soak it all in. You only get to do it once a year. And unfortunately, it does follow the greatest holiday of the year,
Damn
which
right.
is Marine Corps birthday.
Damn right.
But I mean, what can you do? You have to follow the best act that there is.
Do you know why Veterans Day is after the Marine Corps birthday?
Why is that?
I genuinely believe that the U.S. government was smart enough to think, damn, all these Marines are going to be too fucked up to work tomorrow. Let's give them the day off. And so they
Makes
came up
sense.
with Veterans Day. That's like the only thing that makes sense in my mind. That, or they were like, you know what? Let's have the Marine Corps birthday. Let's celebrate the Marine Corps, and then we can celebrate everybody else. But these are just, it's just a theory, a pot of theory.
See, my counter argument would be that we still had to celebrate Bougainville Day after Halloween, knowing that all these motherfuckers were getting hammered the night before, coming back having to run a boots and utes like moto run with the entire regiment. And bueno.
Halloween was on a Sunday. Bougainville Day was on a Monday.
Fucking bullshit. I mean, whatever. But anyways, I digress. Anyone? Any other closing thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah. Chris, are you going to be doing your Moto Marine Corps story next week? Or do you want me to hit it?
I'm gonna be covering the Battle of Iwo Jima.
All right.
Oh yeah.
And the week prior, I will be hitting the Frozen Chosen.
Okay, Frozen Chosen. Final answer. Okay,
yes,
that's some good stuff.
Let's look forward to that for the upcoming next couple of weeks. Be sure to tune in, and we'll have some awesome stories.
Yeah. So we have a couple. That's one thing we can conclude on is some other announcements. But so we have some guests lined up too. One that I've been very, very excited to have. We've been talking about him all the fucking time on the podcast.
Jerry?
No, I wish.
Damn.
Evan. And
Evan, I knew it.
Yeah. All right.
So he's finally gonna come on. We're gonna talk a lot. And then so we have some other guests lined up. I'm pretty excited. But so we're gonna start experimenting a little bit with different segments, like different kinds of episodes, where we have our interview episodes, and we have like our histories episodes, our Marine Corps episodes. So this is going to be pretty exciting stuff. I did stumble across another podcast recently, two of them actually, that I would recommend. One of them being War Stories with B-Rax, a Marine that was with 2-3. He went to Iraq and Afghanistan with 2-3. And I was listening I listened to his first episode this morning, and he, it's so funny hearing him talk about Kaninoe and talking about PTA and going to ITX and you
yeah.
know, all this shit, all the typical Marine Corps stuff that he shares, and it's pretty good stuff. His name is Braxton Russell. And then another podcast I stumbled upon is The Renaissance of Men. So this is a podcast, Chris, that you brought up manhood, and so this I guess this guy, can't even remember his fucking name off the top of my head, but I guess didn't really have a good relationship with his dad or something, and started seeking that kind of sort of relationship through like men, like in building up men. So he does a lot of interviews related to that. They're like 3 hours long, but one of my favorite segments that he does poetry. He reads poetry and he analyzes poetry and how it relates to manhood and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff and just building up yourself to be a better man, to be a better person, I definitely recommend that podcast. If you want to listen to more veteran content, obviously we're going to be pumping out more shit. But if you want to listen to the fucking War Stories with B-Rax, I recommend that as well.
Gonna link them into the bio or what?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if we get paid for it.
Yeah.
But the most important thing also is leave some reviews. Put some reviews. Legitimize us.
Send us if you have any questions, just send us an email, rollingvets@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Shoot us if you want
Tell
to
us
come
how
on.
stupid you think Lucas looks with that boonie and the fucking glasses. Let us know, man.
Well,
Let us know.
It's the
tell
fucking
us about
Marine
taking
Corps.
cold
It was the Marine
showers.
Corps birthday, so I had to break out the fucking boonie. And I had to switch out the headphones specifically so I could fit the boonie. But
Yeah, I'm not that cool. I'll just keep wearing this stupid hat that keeps falling off my fucking head.
there you go.
There it is. There it is. Oh,
All right.
all right. Oh,
Well,
not
here we are.
compatible.
You stuck with us all the way to the end. We thank you for listening. We want our listeners to know that if your pack becomes too heavy, don't drop it. The Veterans Crisis Hotline can be reached at 1-800-273-8255. If you'd like to enjoy more content, don't forget to subscribe, Semper Fi, and keep rolling on. Happy birthday, Marine Corps.
Good.
Happy Veterans Day.
To everyone else.
To everyone else. To the lesser branches. Who said that?
I don't know.